Good sunny morning, everyone. Clear skies in big, beautiful Big Sky, Montana. We are finally on the road this morning at 9 o'clock. Definitely not ideal. I had to go to the urgent care clinic this morning to get my foot checked out. I went to bed last night feeling moderately optimistic that it was just a sprain. I elevated it, you know, iced it, took a bunch of Advil and all that stuff. But when I woke up this morning, it really hurt. Like, I couldn't put pressure on it. So I went to the urgent care, and they had an x-ray machine. So they were able to x-ray my foot. No fractures. That's the good news. The moderately bad news is I very likely have some major tissue damage, like ligaments or tendons or something like that. We have blue skies, we have snowy mountain peaks, we have the Rockies coming today. I just want to get through a beautiful day in the mountains without any issues. Oh my goodness, we are getting into the good stuff. Look at this. This could be Colorado right here. We got mountains covered in pine trees. We are leaving the valley and we're going to start moving our way up into the high country. But look at this beautiful mountain stream, probably teeming with trout, a little fly fishing. Okay, we're 10 miles out of Missoula, and I think all of my drugs have worn off because, good God, does my foot ache. Oh, it hurts so bad. It's just throbbing in my boot. God dang it. Ah. Anyway, 2 hours until I can take more Tylenol. Okay, I'm gonna be all right. I'm gonna be all right. Woo, woo. Like, it's causing me to tear up. It's not painful. Yep. It's gonna be a long day if it stays like this. Really long day. Okay, let's get some coffee here in 7 miles. Maybe we can elevate our foot while we're drinking our coffee. All right, we've got 40 miles to the Idaho border. And then there's only 60 miles of Idaho. Up here in the Panhandle, it's very skinny. So we'll only be in Idaho for about an hour before moving on to a much bigger portion of Washington. Washington marks a really important inflection point in this journey around the country. You know, it's kind of 4 legs of this journey. There was the southern leg, the eastern leg, the northern leg, and the western leg. And for the last 3.5 to 4 days, we've been crossing westward all the way from Maine out to Washington here. And in Spokane, we are going to finally make that turn and start heading south back home to Arizona. Oh, that is fantastic. Welcome to Idaho, my friends. We have made it to a new state, and we are only in Idaho for about 60 to 65 miles. Based on the mileage to Coeur d'Alene here is 61, and then it's right after there is where we cross into Washington. Oh, more traffic. Come on, man. Why you gotta be working on highways right now? You're just messing with me. You're just trying to get at me. It's not gonna work. I'm gonna enjoy this ride, damn it. Even if my foot is throbbing. Ugh. I did just take some more Tylenol, so hopefully that kicks in here momentarily. Well, shoot, it's a regular party here in Coeur d'Alene. Some serious traffic for this little mountain town. Look at all that red on the map. Jeez, that is not what I wanted to see. How about that? Alright, well, we got a receipt. It was a little frustrating because the pump printed a receipt, but it didn't list the town or the state, so I had to get a full receipt from inside. So yeah, we have 354 miles left, which is a lot, but honestly doesn't sound terrible. I mean, we're gonna get in late. It says we're gonna get in at almost 9 o'clock, which sucks, but that's what you get when you leave at 9 a.m. So that's all right. We kind of knew that was gonna happen. Back on the highway, we avoided all that traffic. That was great. I like how that worked out. And it looks to be pretty blue from here on out. According to Google, we are green across the board. I'm sure it'll change up every once in a while because it likes to do that. But we've got 89 miles left on I-90, which is more than I was hoping for, but at least it's under 100. So yeah, less than 100 miles, we'll be finally heading south. And now that we're out of the mountainy areas, I think things are gonna open up quite a bit. We'll be able to crank that cruise control, really push this afternoon. That's the hope anyway. We still got to go through Spokane, but once we're past Spokane, there ain't a whole lot out here. All right, we're celebrating again. New state, Washington, right up here, which incidentally is going to be my new home very soon. I'll be living in Washington on and off for the next 9 months while I'm on sabbatical. So this is pretty cool. I was just in Seattle a few weeks ago scoping out places, and yeah, it feels good to be back in Washington. Even though I'm at the far other end, it's still the same state. State line, here we go. I see the sign. Welcome to Washington. Willkommen. Bienvenue. Haha. Wow, well, we've made it through Spokane, and boy, it was a much bigger city than I remember. It was like a good 20 miles across, but now we're on the other side. Things are starting to thin out already, and very soon we're going to be back into sort of wide open country, just cruising along the interstate here, at least for another 50 miles until we finally make that turn south on 395 towards John Day, towards Oregon. And that will be our destination for the evening. We're down to 314 total miles, so almost 300 to go, which sounds like a lot, but in my brain I'm like, sweet, only 300 more miles. That's doable. That's a doable chunk. So when I talked about the Scablands, this is what I was referring to. People don't realize, they think Washington, they just think evergreens and ocean and fishing and bald eagles and all that stuff that you get over by Seattle, or big mountains, the Pacific Crest, the snowy peaks, Mount Hood, all that stuff, or Mount Baker, I should say, Mount Rainier. But this is a huge part of Washington. Eastern Washington is vast, and it's like this. There ain't much out here, man. It is a desolate, barren wasteland. And when you're cruising along I-90, you're on this for hours. That is a full-on miniature tornado spinning out on the plains. There's a tornado, like right there, just spinning on the landscape. That is wild. I-90, thank you for the many miles we've shared. All the way from Albany, New York is where we got on 90, right after we came out of Vermont. And now we are leaving you in the windy Scablands of Washington for good. Au revoir. Well, we're approaching the town of Pasco here in about 18 miles or so. And we have just spent the last couple hours traversing across like one of the most desolate and barren landscapes I think imaginable. It almost feels unnatural, like it's just something's off about it. It's definitely not a good place to have a breakdown, that's for sure. There is nothing out here. The only thing I've passed in all of this time was literally a prison, like a correctional facility, which if you're gonna put a prison out in the middle of nowhere, it doesn't get any more remote than in the center of the Scablands. Very few trees, but then it's just rolling and channeled lands, just bulldozed over from the last glacial maximum. And yeah, and it's also really hot. The bike is running hot, the tires are running hot. There's this kind of weirdly unsettling cloud cover that's like not rain clouds, but it's like this weird amorphous layer that's almost like out of focus. And there's probably also some mix of like wildfire smoke in there. I don't know, there's just something a little bit off about it that just kind of doesn't sit well with me. But that's part of the reason I wanted to ride through this area, really kind of soak it in. I remember learning about the Scablands when I took like an intro geology course, and when I started learning about glaciology and like the last ice age and the last glacial maximum and where the ice sheets were and where they retreated and where they scoured out land and things, and learning about the big outburst floods and the channeled Scablands is like a famous thing you learn about in the textbooks. So I really wanted to see it firsthand. I've never been through this part of the country. Look at that outcrop. Jeez. That looks like basalt.
Hey there everyone, Future John here. So I did not record a video at the end of day 8, By the time I finished that oil change, it was just so late that I went straight to bed. Now we're getting close to the end of this series, and as you'll see for these last couple of videos, a major theme that you'll hear over and over is just how much my foot started to hurt. Spoiler alert, I did actually break my ankle once I got home and got it scanned with an MRI. They did find a fracture. So that's why it was hurting so bad. One interesting thing to look forward to is we'll be doing a large portion of US Route 50 on the final 2 days, which is considered the loneliest road in America. And it certainly has earned that name, as you'll see. So we'll see you in the next video. Thanks so much for following along. I genuinely appreciate all of you. Bye.
Come on, get to the chopper, get to California. Woo! Haha!